every celebrity, every single person known and famous who has done something crazy that you guys are forgiven. This girl herself personally, she hasn't done anything. She doesn't do anything. All she does is want to play ball. And when she's not doing anything, she's trying to empower people. She has a foundation. She goes and talks to women. She goes and uplifts people. When she does interviews, it's never about her. She's always about everybody else. But people steady make her out to be the enemy.
That passion right there, that's a black woman calling out her own community for the treatment Caitlin Clark receives. And when black female content creators start defending Clark this loudly, you know something has shifted. Because for months, the narrative has been that it's Clark's fans causing all the problems. But what if we've been looking in the wrong direction the entire time?
Other sister.
Tiffany Hayes, girl, you are doing too much. On Threads butthurt because you got a logo bomb on your head. You got smoked. It's okay. Please move on. And to be clear, Tip started the trash talk during the game. And now you on Threads replying to fans saying that your growth is a gift because you were able to keep your composure. Keep your composure from normal basketball trash talk? What? Somebody said they got cousins that are ride at dawn. And Tiff on there like, LOL, I F with y'all. Y'all my peeps. A fan literally said that a coach needs to let one of their...
She's not holding back, and she's pointing directly at the elephant in the room that nobody wants to acknowledge. There's a specific group within the WNBA fanbase that has made it their mission to tear down Caitlin Clark at every opportunity. Not because of what she does on the court, not because of anything she's actually said or done, but because she represents something they can't accept. The Tiffany Hayes situation has exposed this in ways we haven't seen before. Hayes, a veteran guard for the Golden State Valkyries, didn't just engage in normal trash talk during their game against Indiana. She took it to another level entirely. And what happened after the game? That's where this story gets really uncomfortable.
As of today, that is fans demanding that none other than Tiffany Hayes be suspended. Now, this is a post that came out last night that I caught, and it states, Valkyries guard Tiffany Hayes could face a suspension for 1 or 2 games and a fine after comment towards Caitlin Clark. Now, this is the possibilities, what could happen. Now, is this going to happen? It don't look like she's going to receive any punishment from her.
So let's break down exactly what happened here. The Daily Mail picked up this story, which means it's gone beyond WNBA circles into mainstream sports coverage. And the specific allegation is damning. Tiffany Hayes endorsed a fan's offer to inflict violence on Caitlin Clark. Not vague threats. Not ambiguous language. A direct endorsement of violence against another player. This happened on Threads, where Hayes has been active all week. While Caitlin Clark was serving as Grand Marshal at the Indianapolis 500, signing autographs and representing the league positively, Tiffany Hayes was online interacting with fans who were openly discussing hurting Clark. And here's what makes this especially problematic. Hayes didn't just like a comment or scroll past it, she engaged with it, she validated it, she made it clear that she was aligned with fans who wanted to see Clark injured.
Here is making big time buzz. It stated, Golden State Valkyrie guard Tiffany Hayes seemingly endorsed a fan's offer to inflict violence onto Caitlin Clark after the clash during their last matchup. Now, I have not read this article in its entirety, but I definitely want to read some of it here with you guys. So this is the Daily Mail. This is national news. Now, it goes on to say, Golden State Valkyries guard Tiffany Hayes has similarly endorsed a fan offer to inflict violence onto Caitlin Clark, which we did report on that yesterday.
Look at what's trending on Twitter right now. Tiffany Hayes is a top trend, and it's not because of her basketball performance. It's because people across the sports world are recognizing that something fundamentally wrong is happening here. The statement that people are demanding the WNBA release is straightforward. Any attempt to encourage violence towards other players is unacceptable, and there must be immediate consequences. But here's what actually happened. Nothing. The WNBA issued a generic statement about respecting all players. They didn't name Tiffany Hayes. They didn't acknowledge the specific threats. They didn't announce any investigation or disciplinary action. Compare that to how they handled the Kennedy Carter situation last season, when Carter's physical play against Clark resulted in immediate league scrutiny. The contrast in responses tells you everything about how the league views these situations differently. And when reporters had the chance to ask Stephanie White about this during her press conference, they didn't. Not a single question about the online rhetoric surrounding her star player. Not one inquiry about whether the team had addressed the situation with Hayes before their next matchup. Complete silence from the Indianapolis media.
People. Now, I'm not going to just name the group of people. I think we kind of all know which group I'm talking about. And for them to always find some reason, some way to poke negative or to say different things in regards to Caitlin Clark is mind-blowing to me, man. It's definitely mind-blowing to me. And for this to keep going on game after game after game lets me know which group is doing the most racism, because we just seen Tiffany Hayes endorse violence onto Caitlin Clark. You know what, Caitlin?
This is the part that should alarm everyone who cares about the WNBA's growth. A developmental player taking one for the team. That's not basketball strategy. That's premeditated intent to injure. And when a veteran player like Tiffany Hayes responds positively to that kind of suggestion, it creates a permission structure for escalation. Think about what that means for the next game between these teams. Indiana plays Golden State again this Thursday. The Valkyries know that Hayes has been publicly supporting fans who want Clark hurt. Clark knows it, the referees know it, and now, because this has gone national, everyone watching will be looking for any sign of targeting or excessive physicality. The league has put itself in an impossible position by refusing to address this directly. If something happens to Clark in that game, if there's a hard foul or a dangerous play, the WNBA won't be able to claim they didn't see it coming. They were warned, they had evidence, they chose to do nothing.
I'm just tired of the notion that it's her fans. It's clearly not her fans. Y'all want to know who it is? It's all these old guard WNBA fans that hate when Caitlin Clark is successful. I just seen a thing the Correlation just put out on her X account, right? Now, the WNBA, for some reason, is hyping up AZ Foot, which she did ball out. She had 24 points. She shot over 50% from three. So I give him that. But let's check this out real quick. It says, laugh him ass off. I don't know why this keeps happening. It's not hard to get this information out. WNBA and NBC. AZ Fugs, 6 3-pointers against the Liberty were the most ever by a rookie in the game. Caitlin Clark made 7 3-pointers in a game her rookie year in 2024 June against the Miss.
And here's where the media's selective coverage becomes really obvious. The WNBA and NBC just hyped up Azzi Fudd for hitting 6 3-pointers against the Liberty, calling it a rookie record. Except it's not. Caitlin Clark hit 7 3-pointers in a single game during her rookie season in June 2024 against the Mystics. That's the actual record. This isn't a mistake, this is a pattern. The league's official accounts consistently erase or minimize Clark's achievements while elevating other players for accomplishments that don't even match what she's already done. They did it with scoring records, they did it with assist numbers, and now they're doing it with 3-point shooting. Why does this matter in the context of the Tiffany Hayes situation? Because it reveals the institutional bias that enables the harassment Clark faces. When the league itself won't accurately recognize her accomplishments, it sends a message to players and fans that diminishing Clark is acceptable. That she doesn't deserve the credit she's earned. That her success is somehow illegitimate or needs to be qualified.
I'm so sick of the nonsense that this girl has to go through. And it's weird. It's weird. She has done absolutely nothing but bring eyes to the league. She has done absolutely nothing but be really goddamn good at basketball. And everybody hates her for it. And don't give me the nonsense or the BS. It's her fans. And, oh, she's supporting racists and all of this, because I can point to you.
But something is changing, and these black female content creators speaking up represent that shift. They're not buying the narrative anymore. They're watching Caitlin Clark get targeted, harassed, and undermined, and they're calling it what it is. Prejudice rooted in resentment of her success. The creator we heard earlier laid it out perfectly. Clark hasn't done anything to deserve this treatment. She plays basketball at an elite level. She brings unprecedented attention to the league. She uses her platform to empower others through her foundation. She gives credit to her teammates in every interview. She's built playgrounds in multiple states for kids who need them. These are facts, not opinions. So when people claim they hate her fans but not her, ask them this. Why do you comment on every single post about her? Why do you search for ways to diminish every achievement? Why do you celebrate when she struggles, or when other players target her physically? That's not indifference, that's obsession. And the motivation behind that obsession is what nobody wants to say out loud.
Other content creators standing on business and telling y'all the truth, telling y'all the real. When it comes to Caitlin Clark, there's always a two-sided argument, because there's one side that hate the young lady because she's so damn good. Then there's another side that like ball and like Caitlin Clark as a person because all the good that she do in the community. Because the last time I checked, I ain't see no damn other WNBA players passing out playgrounds to little kids. I'm just saying, Caitlin Clark got a playground in like probably 3 or 4 different states. 3 or 4 different states, bro. So this notion that, she's not a good person is crazy. But guys, get down in the comment section. Let me know y'all thoughts about this, man. Keep them bells on. And until next time, dog, shake the haters off. I'm out of here.
Here's what makes this situation with Tiffany Hayes particularly significant. This isn't coming from a fringe fan account with 50 followers. This is a professional athlete with a platform, engaging with violent rhetoric about a fellow player. And the context matters. Hayes initiated the trash talk during the game. She got hit with a logo three-pointer. She got outplayed. And instead of taking that competitive loss and moving on, she went online and aligned herself with fans discussing how to hurt Clark. That sequence of events reveals something about how certain players view Caitlin Clark. It's not just competitive rivalry, it's personal animosity that extends beyond the court into a desire to see her harmed. And when that animosity is rooted in resentment of her success, her popularity, and her impact on the league, we have to be honest about what's driving it. The WNBA has spent 2 years telling us that the problem is Clark's fanbase, that racist fans are harassing players of color, that the toxicity is coming from outside the league's traditional community. But the Tiffany Hayes situation flips that narrative completely. Here's a black player endorsing violence against a white player, and the league is silent. Here's a veteran using her platform to validate threats, and there are no consequences. Here's a pattern of targeting that has nothing to do with Clark's fans, and everything to do with how certain players and fans view her success. The double standard is staggering. When Clark's fans say something inappropriate online, it becomes a national story about racism and toxicity in women's basketball. But when a player engages with fans discussing how to injure Clark, we get silence from the league and the media. When Clark gets physically targeted on the court, we're told it's just basketball and she needs to toughen up. But when she responds with trash talk and dominant play, suddenly she's the problem. This isn't sustainable. The WNBA is trying to build a league around the massive audience Clark brings while simultaneously allowing her to be treated in ways that no other star player would tolerate. They want her popularity and her ratings, but they won't protect her from harassment or even acknowledge when it crosses into dangerous territory. And here's what the league doesn't seem to understand. Clark's fans see this. They watch her get hit with cheap shots while commentators praise the physicality. They see her achievements get erased from record books or attributed to other players. They watch as players like Tiffany Hayes face zero consequences for endorsing violence against her. And every time that happens, the divide between Clark's audience and the WNBA's traditional fan base grows wider. The Thursday game between Indiana and Golden State is going to be must-watch television, but for all the wrong reasons. People aren't tuning in to see great basketball. They're tuning in to see if Tiffany Hayes or anyone else on the Valkyries tries to follow through on the rhetoric. They're watching to see if the referees will protect Clark or if they'll let things escalate. They're looking for evidence that the league takes this seriously, or confirmation that they don't. And if something does happen, if there's a dangerous play or an injury, the WNBA will have no one to blame but themselves. They had the opportunity to address this directly. They could have suspended Hayes for even engaging with violent rhetoric. They could have issued a strong statement making clear that threatening other players, even online, even through liked comments, will result in consequences. They chose not to. That choice reveals everything about the league's priorities. They're more concerned with managing narratives about racism and protecting certain players from criticism than they are with actually addressing threats against their biggest star. They'll lecture fans about respecting all players while allowing some players to be treated as acceptable targets. The irony is that Caitlin Clark has been nothing but professional through all of this. She doesn't respond to the online hate. She doesn't call out other players publicly. She doesn't complain about the physical targeting or the biased officiating. She just shows up and dominates. She dropped that logo 3 on Tiffany Hayes and let her game do the talking. She's at the Indianapolis 500 representing the league and the city, while Hayes is online with fans discussing violence. That contrast should tell you everything about who the real problem is here. But the WNBA can't acknowledge it because it doesn't fit their preferred narrative. They need Clark to be the villain in some fans' eyes because it justifies the treatment she receives. They need her success to be controversial because it explains why some players and fans resent her. They can't admit that the harassment she faces is rooted in the same prejudice they claim to be fighting against. So where does this leave us? The league has a decision to make. They can continue pretending this isn't happening, that the threats against Clark are just competitive trash talk, that players endorsing violence is normal basketball culture. Or they can acknowledge that they have a serious problem with how their biggest star is being treated and actually do something about it. Based on their response so far, I'm not optimistic. The WNBA has shown repeatedly that they're willing to sacrifice Clark's well-being and her fans' trust to avoid difficult conversations about the prejudice within their own community. They'll issue vague statements about respecting all players while allowing specific targeting to continue. They'll celebrate the ratings Clark brings while erasing her from the record books. And that's why content creators like the ones we heard from today are so important. They're willing to call this out even when it's uncomfortable. They're willing to acknowledge that the problem isn't just coming from one direction. They're willing to say that black women can be prejudiced too, that resentment of success crosses all demographic lines, that the WNBA's traditional fan base includes people who would rather see the league stay small than watch Caitlin Clark succeed. The question for you is simple. Do you think Tiffany Hayes should face any consequences for endorsing violence against Caitlin Clark? Not a hypothetical question, not a both sides analysis, a direct question that requires you to pick a position. Because if your answer is no, if you think this is just normal basketball culture, then you're part of the problem. And if your answer is yes, then you need to ask yourself why the WNBA disagrees with you. Drop your answer in the comments. Tell me if I'm wrong about any of this. Tell me if you think Thursday's game is going to stay clean or if something's going to happen. Tell me whether you believe the league will ever actually protect Caitlin Clark or if they're content letting this continue as long as the ratings stay high. Because this conversation isn't going away. It's only going to get louder as more people recognize what's really happening here.